Good afternoon from Snake Mountain Boat Works on Tuesday, February 21. We are back working on the 1960 Cruisers Seafarer. I've released a series of fasteners, and as we discussed in the previous video, this is a bit of a challenge for the purpose of toothpicking, because the rib to which the plywood sheathing is fastened runs beneath the plywood in these points. Normally when we're toothpicking, we're just toothpicking the rib, but now we need to pass the toothpicks through the sheathing, and we don't want to have the glue spread out and form a layer between the plywood and the rib. So what we've done is every course driven a 1-inch wood screw through into the rib to hold the plywood down while the glue dries. So the process is pretty straightforward. It involves loading a series of toothpicks with the glue. These holes will take 3 to 4 toothpicks. Why are we doing it? Because we've pulled the old fastener out. Remember, it's a 3/4 inch number 8, and left that void behind. If we really want to secure this sheathing to the ribs, then we want to create a new wood core from the outside in. So the trick is to drive them down, get them good and tight. It's not the most creative exercise in the boat shop, but it's a critical one. Not doing it risks having fasteners back out later. And I'm well aware that some people simply would go to a number 10 screw, a little bit longer, and just hope for the best. Well, we'd rather drill a new pilot hole through new wood, so we know that our fasteners are going to bite, and they'll still be there 10 years from now. Unlike the fasteners that we've found in this bottom, all of which I have yet to find a single wood screw that is tight on this bottom. Every one of them simply backs right out. So we keep going, filling the holes. Now I'm only going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 courses right now, because if were I to completely release the fasteners from this sheathing, there's nothing to protect the structural integrity of the bottom, and we run the risk of having parts and pieces move under the stress of sitting on boat dollies, getting pushed around, and the like. So we will proceed to do a series of them. I'll do them on both starboard and port, and then trim off the excess. That's where we get the notion that we're turning the bottom of the boat into a porcupine. These things really are not very user-friendly once they get glued into place. So, whoop. There are 3 courses now. See how we're doing in terms of being able to see. I use a variety of things as my glue holder, but something flat is best. There's really no particular skill involved. Goop them up and drive them home. That's the process we're in here. And I did this once without gloves and paid for it dearly, because this glue became a new surface, a new skin, and it was there for a long, long time. And of course it turned brown and yucky, and my wife wasn't particularly pleased with me. So we'll go with the gloves. It's a lot easier. But you can see the porcupine's beginning to form, rearing its ugly head. And afterwards we will trim these off using the toothpicks are sharp too. We use maple toothpicks, round toothpicks. I know that some people drive dowels down into fastener holes. I don't know. It seems by doing it this way, you have a glue holding the components together, but each to his own. You've got to fill these voids. You don't just drive bigger fasteners down in. That is not a solution. So that's how we toothpick, and then while we are looking at the boat, there's one other issue that I thought I would touch upon. When her owner did the leak test, water just poured through this seam between the bottom sheathing and the transom. So what I've done is to completely release all the fasteners across the plywood sheathing, but also down the side for the first two strakes. And this will allow us, this will be a two-man job, to raise the sheathing. We can also, I'm not going to do it now because we're not inserting the 5200 now, but we will gently release these so that there's enough space, and we will drive 3M 5200 along this seam, and then immediately drive screws in to hold everything. But before we do that, we have to toothpick all of this. And what I am doing is I'm going to leave the toothpicks out of this area for now, so that make it easier to release the plywood and the tails of those two strakes. So we've got lots of holes in case anybody wants to come drive toothpicks into them. Thank you so much. Bye-bye for now from Snake Mountain Boat Works.